Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on a poem. We're uncovering the story behind it, following the incredible journey all the way from a single moment of inspiration to a finished work of art shared with the entire world. It all starts right here with this idea, a sudden, powerful creative spark. This is the heart of the poem by Dennis Martindale. Okay, so let's dive right in. At that very beginning, the moment of inspiration. So, section 1, a singular, sublime moment. For the poet, what is this moment of inspiration really? It's way more than just a clever idea. He sees it as something much, much more profound, almost divine. He actually describes it as a divine gift, something as universal and life-giving as sunshine. But here's the key thing. This gift doesn't just work on its own. It acts on the imagination, which he sees as another pre-existing gift, and sparks it, kicking off the process of making something totally new. And wow, the opening lines of the poem itself just nail this feeling perfectly. This isn't just him describing something, it's a declaration. Inspiration is framed as this active, divine force that literally sets the poet on their creative path. All right, section 2, from first line to verse. But look, a spark isn't a poem, right? That abstract feeling has to be shaped into art. And this next part reveals the surprisingly methodical craft behind turning that initial idea into structured verse. So Martindale lays out this really clear four-step process. First, he waits for that first line, which he says always turns up without fail. From there, it's all about technique. He starts testing out rhythms and rhymes, he edits the words to fit the specific structure of a classic hymn, and then, and this is so important, he recites it all out loud to make sure the flow is just right. All of this happens before the first draft is even considered done. Now for section 3, the call to Calvary. This is where we get to the theological heart of the poem. So, what's really driving this creative process? For this poet, creating isn't just, art for art's sake. It's a deeply personal act of faith. You see, he believes that the ability to write about things like truth or parables or even prophecy, well, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's all rooted in one specific foundational event that underpins his entire worldview. And here it is. This is the crucial part. Martindale connects his creative gift, his inspiration, directly to the sacrifice at Calvary. In his view, that one single event paid for the grace that allows this kind of divine inspiration to flow through him. And in his mind, it's not just about poetry. That one act unlocked everything. Things like forgiveness of sins, the gift of eternal life, and that amazing grace that he says supplies God's light for believers and creators. It's the wellspring for all these other gifts. Moving on to section 4, a modern poet's tool. So the poem is written. It's rooted in ancient faith, this classic structure, but the story's not over, not by a long shot. The final step is where things get really modern, where timeless faith meets today's technology. So how do you create a visual for a poem like this here in the 21st century? Well, Martindale went for a really unexpected combo, the timeless art of gospel poetry and a completely cutting-edge tool, artificial intelligence. Okay, so what he did was he went to this AI image generation website, Desgo.com. But here's the twist. Instead of typing in a description like a pretty sunset, he decided to use his own art as the command itself. He literally just copied and pasted the text of his poem right into the AI's prompt box. Think about that for a second. He turned his own verse into a command, tasking this machine to generate a visual companion piece based on the very words he had so carefully put together. And what did the AI come up with? A beautiful sunrise. But the collaboration didn't stop there. The poet himself then jumped in, editing that image to bring his full vision to life, adding a figure to represent a Christian believer. After that, he uploaded the whole package, the poem and his newly co-created image, to the web. And that brings us to section 5, Inspiration's Gospel. And just like that, the journey from spark to screen is complete. What started as this private, singular moment of inspiration has now become the final creation, a full-on multimedia piece ready to be shared with everyone. This final stanza from the poem, man, it just wraps everything up so perfectly. It's a message of faith, crafted through this personal, methodical process, visualized with modern tech, but ultimately, it's pointing to something he believes is totally timeless and eternal. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? As new tools like AI keep emerging, they don't just change our future. they're changing how we express and share the most timeless parts of our past. I think the big takeaway here is how even the most personal, spiritual journeys are finding these new, totally unexpected ways to be expressed in our digital world.